everyone, it's Tawney. In today's video, as you can probably tell by the thumbnail and or title, I'm not quite sure what they're going to be yet. That's kind of, doing things a little bit early, even though Tuesday's coming real fast. Today is Thursday, the 29th of October, 2020, which I cannot wait to never say that again. Like, 2020, like, let's just forget it ever happened, you know what I mean? I think I'd rather deal with, like, what is it, Y2K, the year 2000 where all the digital stuff was gonna crash. I think I'd rather deal with that, maybe at that scale, not so much at the scale where, like, we rely on it so heavily, because I feel like I'd, like, lose my mind. But, so I'm filming this video early because Tuesday, November, is it the 3rd? Whatever day Tuesday is, I at least know which day, like, of the week, is election day. I feel very unpatriotic for not knowing the actual, like, date. Alexa, when's election day?
Election day is 5 days away. Next Tuesday, November 3rd.
Thank you.
You bet. Hope you had a good Thursday.
Okay, she usually follows up at whatever she says with, like, some sort of comment. That's why I kind of, like, hesitated a little bit. I'm not sure if you could hear, but it is November 3rd. So I wanted to do a somewhat patriotic look today. Half blue, half red, whatever you're voting. I know exactly what I am voting and who I am voting for. I should probably have done early voting, although my whole thing is I don't know who exactly is running for the local election, like for Board of Education, we have the Orphans Court, I think it's something like that. Typically there's only one person that ever runs, so you just vote for that person, and she's been doing it for so long that, like, it's been fine, so, like, let's just keep her there. Like, don't mess up a good thing while you have it, kind of a thing. But I'd like to do a little bit more research so that way I'm not voting for bad people, because when we voted early on for, like, Board of Education, I almost feel like I have voted for someone who I should not have voted for. Like, I recognized names. That's my big problem. And especially going through school with tests and everything, but I had recognized her name and I think I may have voted for her, and she's, like, the worst person to be on the Board of Education. So I don't want to make that mistake again, which is why you should be a well-educated voter. It's okay, that you want to vote. It's great. We love having extra voters, people that want to, support their democracy. I feel like Smokey Glow saying that. But definitely make sure you read up on views, figure out what people's stances are, what kind of, like, promises they're making, so that way you're not, like, voting for someone who's going to be like Hitler. You know what I mean? But, I don't want to get super political telling you who to vote for. I think you can see enough in the media, make up your own decision. I think the thing that, like, really affects voting a lot is, like, the area that you live in, because I'm from a very, I guess you want to say rural area where it's a very, like, backwoods country-esque kind of an area. So I obviously know what the majority of my area is voting for. And some people that live in, like, California or maybe even New York might not be voting that same way. So, and just because, something is voting in that way doesn't mean that you should, but just make sure you know what your, like, views and stances are, so you don't just, like, blend in with the other people in your area and then make a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe in that, or that person gets elected and then you're like, oh crap, I voted for that person, but they're a terrible human being. You know what I mean? I'm actually ready for this election stuff to be over with, and not so much, like, I don't want this to sound, like, terrible, but I'm just kind of done with seeing the the debate. I'm tired of seeing the debate stuff. I'm tired of seeing all the ads on the TV and radio and in, like, on before YouTube videos start, where it's like someone paid for this ad and they're just slandering the other person. Like, talk about what you can do, not how bad the other person is, because that's going to make me look like, it's going to make you look worse. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of Like, I don't know. I'm just ready for all of that to be out of the way and just kind of focus more on like what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they can fix within society, those types of things. As a social worker and as someone who works in like the nonprofit area, I'm not like a state worker, but I kind of sort of work with the state and work with different policies that like happen within the state. And like I work a lot with social services and CPS, child protective services, so I kind of need to keep up on laws and things like that and anything pertaining to parents and families and children, and just kind of be in the know of like what's going on, mainly so I can help them. This is making me look very pale between the lighting and the fact that the shirt's white and it's kind of sort of see-through and I'm wearing a black bra. But I like the shirt. The sleeves are a little bit like funky, not my kind of thing, but I think it's cute. It's a little bit too big, but it would be okay. But yeah, I need to keep up with those things. And oh, this foundation looks nice. This is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage foundation. Man, it looks really nice. I haven't used it in a long time, and I know a lot of people really like it. But yeah, I need to keep up on those things and stay in the know, make sure I'm informed, make sure I'm staying up on like what, you know what I mean? Like we were talking today at my job about people trying to get their children back and like specific rules that CPS has that are different between states, because I'm so close to two different states that we kind of need to know what the differences are and what like is okay in our area that's not okay in this area and things like that. So that's just kind of, you know, as a social worker, you need to keep up on that. But I think it's just like a general person in like everyday society, it's something that we need to be knowledgeable of. And I feel like that has a lot to do with like the whole Karen thing. And was it like they call it kind of Chad, which I don't agree with, but that's because I have a cat named Chad and he could do no wrong, even though he does a lot of wrong. But okay, sorry, I could not talk while I was doing that. But so that like if you're saying, oh, this person's doing this and they shouldn't be doing that, but the law states that they can be doing that, like you kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's just, so yeah. So voting is Tuesday. I had kind of sort of thought about early voting and saw the polls were very like congested and long, especially because they have to go through all the COVID protocols and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure you plan ahead, make sure you have time. If you're using a babysitter or you're going on like a lunch break or something, you plan ahead that like it might take longer than you thought, things like that. I plan on going Tuesday, like I said, so I can do more like research and like get more knowledgeable about things going on, like people who I'm going to be voting for and such. And I know that where I'm voting is going to be heavily congested because it is the tax building in our area, and it is right now the early voting place. So I think there's going to be a lot of people expecting that to be like the place to vote, I guess you could say, which is a little bit like kind of overwhelming. Like I'm going into this already like nervous, but and I'm probably gonna go after work, so it'll be like 5:30 whenever I get over there, which means that it's probably going to be like super hectic busy because you're getting all the people from the 4:30 rush that are probably still gonna be there whenever I get there at 5. I'm hoping it's not raining, because yesterday it was dreary, today it's raining, and it's been early voting. I think both of these days along with Tuesday. I'm not sure about Monday, but I know that Tuesday had started, like was one of the days. But there goes my nose again, looking all scaly. I'm gonna need to figure out like maybe exfoliate my nose or something, because I'm not feeling that at all. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to definitely plan for it being a while. Maybe I'll see if my mom is gonna go. Be like, hey, you want to stand in line to vote with me so that we can chit chat while we're waiting, because it's gonna be a long line. Because that's probably gonna be her polling place too, because the place that we usually vote at is like right in our little town, right on our way home. Like you have to go past it to get to both of our places that we live. And it kind of stinks because like I always knew most of the people that worked there because they were like people from our area, because they always try and put, like if you live in my town, they put you working in that town, which kind of can be a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. But I'm kind of gonna miss seeing like the regular people that know me, and like my aunt always works it. So I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna be seeing her because I don't think she's gonna be at mine. I think she's gonna be somewhere else in the county. But it's gonna be kind of weird not seeing her and like knowing the people that are there. But it'll be nice to vote. I voted in the last election, which was my first election, and I remember talking to two of my friends, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't know how this works. I've never voted before. Like, how do I do all of this?" And they kind of like walked me through just a little bit because they had obviously voted. You know, one person had voted multiple times, and the other had voted like once or twice, and they were just like, you go in there, you fill out the paper, you take it over to the machine, and blah blah blah. And I'm sure if you voted, and if not, you'll find out, or soon. But I don't want to talk too much because I'm not sure how much I can say. But it was a very easy process. The staff there were very helpful, the volunteers and such. And I didn't feel very intimidated. I was kind of nervous, like, about the voting process, more so than like doing it. I was more worried about the results and things like that than I was about like doing the voting, because that's just like an easy thing. I stayed up till like 2 in the morning when they got all the results in and did all the counting and things, and was quite bummed. But if that tells you who I did not vote for, that's more so how I voted, was by not voting for a certain person. But I was quite bummed. I am a sore loser, so I kind of like take things a little bit harsh. But I have to realize that like things like that can happen. You can say it's rigged. You can say that the Electoral College did this. You can say that people voted this way, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know what to believe, so that's kind of, that's kind of that. I don't know. I'm excited to vote. I'm honestly excited for it to be over with. Like, I hate the whole, like, waiting build up time to all of this, if that makes sense. Like, waiting to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen so much. I don't honestly think the debates would have pushed anyone in any specific direction. Like, it just would have kind of confirmed people's, well, that's a lot. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. It would have confirmed more so people's, like, what their pre-existing thoughts are, basically, which I guess is okay. Debates are more so to swing you in a specific direction, and I don't think these quite did that. They were more so like, was it the redhead Stacy in Clueless, and not so much Cher? No, I'm just kidding. But they're just supposed to help sway you in a specific direction if you're on the fence, or if you've been thinking about like a different, like the other side to things of how you were thinking. It's to try and just like push you more so towards that, I guess. I don't exactly, like, I was never on a debate team in school. It was not my thing. I was not studious enough to do something like that. But I think, voting, I don't know. It's just so overwhelming, honestly. And with everything going on in the world, and, we're already dealing with so much, and then it's, election time, like, it's a lot. So I'm going to be using the ColourPop Mulan palette. It looks like this, and I'm going to do a red look on this eye. And I use the Milani eyeshadow primer as my primer because it's like my go-to primer. No, I use the Makeup Revolution Lock something primer. I really do like this primer. It's taken me a long time to realize that I do like it and it does work for me. It's just something that I'm gonna have to, like, I guess get used to using, because I'm so used to using the Milani eyeshadow primer, which they both work just fine. They're great, honestly. I don't know. I'm definitely always, it seems, in the hunt for a good eyeshadow primer. I haven't found too many from the drugstore that are decent, but I guess it might be one of those that, like, you find one and stick to it. I'd like to find one that has a doe foot that I really like. I'm not totally convinced with the Makeup Revolution one as I am with the Milani one, so I guess that's what I'm trying to, like, get to that point. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me say, I'm not sure how much I like it. Okay, that's starting to look nice. I'm going with Fighter all over my eye, and I'm going in with Strength up in my transition area. I really like this palette, and I want to get way more use out of it. I've been watching so many Julia Mazzucato videos lately that I'm like so inspired by her eye looks and the way she does her makeup that it makes me want to like do better and try harder with my makeup. You know what I mean? Like, I saw a video today that was like 3 years old, and her makeup still looked good, but you could tell that it was different, but it still looked good, and I was like, I want my makeup to look like how it does now. But I'm like, I know I have to start off at that early stage, and I'm okay with that because, you know, start it now and you'll get to that point in 3 years, or you'll be 3 years in with no progress because you didn't start it. You know what I mean? So now I'm going in with Guiding Spirit, and I am placing that in my outer corner. I am not a fan of Mulan. I'm probably gonna break some hearts. Was never a big fan, just didn't really like the like culture behind it. That's just kind of, it just never like appealed to me in a way that like as a child I never really like cared for, never really understood. Maybe now if I watched it I might like it, but I have no real interest in doing that, so that's kind of where that's at. I watched the new Lion King when it came out. I know we're getting very off topic from like the whole election thing, but I did watch the Lion King, saw it in theaters. It was okay. It wasn't like spectacular. I'm not like a Beyonce stan. I'm more of a like Donald Glover, Childish Gambino stan. So I was more excited for him to be in it than Beyonce, and I thought he did a great job. But it was alright. I could have lived without seeing it. So that's kind of, you know, that's how I feel about that. Now I'm going in with Undefeated, which is a very nice creamy red. Like, look at that. So nice. I need to put some bronzer on because I'm looking real pale right now. Like, oh, pale. Okay, that looks nice. So nice. So nice, so nice, so nice. I'm gonna go on my under eye with Strength and do my under lash line. And I think I'm gonna put a little bit of Guiding Spirit, or no, Undefeated on my lower lash line too, just to kind of intensinate that red. Making up words over here, people. I'm tapping it, oh, okay. I dipped into it, there wasn't much on my brush. When I tapped it off, like nothing came off. This is one of those glitters that like, nothing. It's not so much a glitter, it's more of like a shimmer kind, like I wouldn't consider it too much of a glitter, but it's one where like I tapped off the brush and everything fell off. So that's great. Oh my gosh. I look like I got punched in the eye and I'm bleeding. Well, that's fun. It's so funny seeing people do one eye and it's like, whoa, your eye looks so weird. I'm gonna get my powder brush. Swipe out from the under eye. I watched a Robert Welsh video today and he was reviewing someone's makeup routine and oh my gosh, it was awful. Oh, that person did a really bad job. I'm just like, it was just so all over the place. Like the techniques that Robert talks about were not used for that girl's, like she did not follow them, which, you know, it is what it is. You know, how you do it's up to you and whatever. Now I'm going to go in with the Odin's Eye Alva 2 eyeshadow palette for the blues because I love the blue in this palette. And he, what was I saying? Oh, what was I saying? Going in with Blue Peafowl on my transition. He said to pat the stuff and then blend because if you just swipe, then you're going to just be dragging the product. And the girl was just like, she put her thing and just like wiped, and she did that with her beauty blender too. Oh my gosh, it was so hard to watch. Like, I know that that's how people apply makeup, and you know, you do you, it's up to you, and if you want it to look that way, that's, you know, totally your prerogative, but whew, that was hard to watch. I wasn't sure how long I could do that, honestly. Like, it was not one, if it was just her video, I would not have kept watching. I'm putting a crap ton of this Blue Peafowl on my transition because it's such a light color that it's kind of like it looks a little bit better on the camera than it does on my mirror. Like it's kind of looking a little bit blah. I look weird. Whose idea was this? It's my idea. Just thought it'd be kind of cool and urge you guys to vote. Make sure you register to vote when you can, when possible. The sooner the better. I'm not sure if you can, like if you're registering to vote, if you can vote in this current election. Not totally sure how that works, honestly. But yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys register to vote. Figure out how you can, you know, go about voting. Make sure you get your vote in. Figure out what time the polls in your area close, where you can go to vote. Do your research on who you're voting for. I was gonna pull my eye and then I was like, no, we're not doing that. Robert Welsh says not to do that. Okay, I'm putting that same exact color on my lower lash line. I honestly feel like I may have picked the wrong blue. This would have been better if I had one of the big 35, 39, I don't know how many shade eyeshadow palettes from Morphe. If I had been using one of those, like the James Charles one, but I'm not the biggest fan of those, and I have those currently on my Poshmark. Well, I have the James Charles one, so check my Poshmark link down below and check that out. But I have that one listed on there. I don't think I have any other blues around here. I do, in the Kathleen palette, the So Jaded palette. What color? So maybe I'm gonna use a matte blue out of here. Yes, Sapphire. So, yeah. And I'm going to use that just out here. We're gonna pack that on because it's a nice deep blue, but I want to definitely like make sure it stays that way, if that makes sense. Ooh, Mimi Lure looking nice. I honestly feel like I could do this for Christmas with the Mr. Heat Miser and then Mr. Snow or whatever his name is, Mr. Winter or something, because man, that'd be cool. But then I'd have to do some kind of like flames and icicles and stuff, and I'm just not that talented. But maybe that'd be a way to challenge myself. I don't have any plans to do any kind of like Christmas thing. I'm not gonna do like 25 days of vlogging or anything. That's too much dedication, and I don't know. I feel like that's kind of overwhelming also, doing that many, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that. This blue is like, man, it's blue. Ooh. This is a great way to learn how to do different looks. Just to do it, honestly. Okay, I'm going to go in with Pearl from the Kathleen palette as my inner color for both eyes. I think it looks really cool. It'll be a good way to like match, you know? That looks nice. Nice. Now I'm going in with Deep Sea from the Odin's Eye palette. That looks so nice. And I'm just going to pat that with my finger on my inner eye. I want something that's like very blue, not just like teal or turquoise kind of, or like a light blue, because I want it to be very blue since the red is very red. Wow, that's a really nice blue. Odin's Eye is killing it. Oh man. Okay. Now we gotta do the rest of the face because we're already 25 minutes in and I feel like I'm taking up a lot of time. So yeah, that is the eye look. Oh, I know what he said. So he said you should do your eye look first if you're going to do a heavily pigmented look. So that way, like with your eyes, so that way if it messes it up, you can just go in, which was so cool that he said this, you can just go in with a wipe with primer on it, not a makeup removing wipe, but just a wipe or like a cotton pad or something with your primer on it, so you don't mess up the makeup and or the you don't mess up the primer and you don't mess up the skincare underneath when you're fixing any kind of fallout. And I was like, mind blown. Like the fact that you would use the primer to help remove all of that, it like so cool, honestly. Like it's just so cool. I'm using the Fenty bronzer. I'm not going to talk about every product I use because it was more so about the eyes. I'm using that as my bronzer. I wanted to look a little bit more bronze, so I'm not sure if maybe I'll put something on after the video's over. We'll see. He also said to use a little bit more of a precise brush to do your bronzing, so it's not like a flimsy, like you don't have like so you have control over it. And I kind of like the way my bronzer looks, so I'm not like overly mad that mine isn't so much like isn't controlled like he, you know, recommends. I don't know. Makeup's all about how you want to do it and how you like it, because you know it's your face that has the makeup on it, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go in with the Maxi blush and Rendezvous. It's 05 from Rimmel, and I'm going to put that on my face. Oh yeah, that's a really nice red. Okay. This almost makes me wish I had like an icy highlighter, so I could do that on my blue side and then do more of like a pink highlighter on my right side. But I don't think I have any blue highlighters, because I think that's something I've like thrown out because I don't use, or like given away or gotten rid of or something like that. I'm glad I'm only staying in tonight, because this would be a weird look to wear around. Could you imagine me showing up at the polls looking like this? Girl, it'd be a look, let me tell you. I'm getting dangerously close to being out of that, and I'm honestly a little bit worried because I don't want to repurchase those when I don't want to repurchase that setting spray when I run out. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do when I run out? Maybe I'll look for it on Poshmark, see if it's a decent price and buy it on there. That way I'm not buying it from Morphe. I'm buying it from someone who already did buy it. And they're getting rid of it, so maybe. Oh, look at that. I forgot how much I love this mascara. It used to be my favorite. This is the Essence Lash Princess, the green one. I forgot how much I love this. I haven't done reds in a long time. I've done blues fairly recently, but yeah. Oh, I don't have a nice red out. I should go get a red. Do I want to do red? Probably not. Should I do red? Probably not. Would it look good? Probably not. I think I do have a red, honestly. I have some of these mini Bite lipsticks. I bought a set of 4, and I realized they're all like my mom's colors. So then I gave one to her because I figured she'd use it. Whoa! I don't usually use red. Okay, that doesn't look terrible. It's not the best red lip like that I've done. It's a great lipstick. I've heard the formula is really good, but this is the look. This is my Go Vote look. So yeah, I hope you guys really liked that. I think it was kind of cool to do something different, kind of like urge you guys to go vote. That is this Tuesday, November 3rd. So go vote and support your democracy and participate. like the rest of us Americans are doing. Sorry if you're not from the United States, but I am, so that's kind of what's going on in my world. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos and vlogs. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell somewhere down below so you get notified of when I upload. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!